I'll call it to order at 9 o'clock. Welcome everybody to the December 10th Ag Service Board meeting. We'll call it to order at 9 o'clock. And we'll start with number 2, the agenda. Any additions to the agenda? We'll start at, with Roy and work our way back and then.
There are a couple items. One was online drainage update.
Any business?
The roadside brush.
We'll go 615 and 6.6. Yeah. And you guys are something. Okay.
Side brush.
Okay, thanks, Roy.
6.5 or 6.6.
Yeah.
I actually have nothing to add today.
Thanks,
So.
Bill.
No, I'm okay.
Thanks, Bill. I got none of that. How about from the administration?
I just have a one amendment on the 8.3. The liaison report deals will not be available to due to an illness. So not sure, Mr. Chairman, if you want to leave that in or remove 8.3.
Maybe we'll leave it in case she comes online.
Okay.
And then we'll when we get up to see what we gotta do. Yeah, we'll be join us last minute. All right. And delegation is gonna be online at 10 o'clock sharp. The delegation with Megan. So with no other additions, can we have somebody make a motion? Bring it for the agenda, please.
I move that the Lamont County Agricultural Service Board adopt the December 10th, 2025 Agricultural Service Board agenda as amended.
Okay, all in favor? 5 carried. Number 3, the adoption of the previous minutes, page 5 to 8. You guys had a chance to look over them. Any errors or? If not, we'll get a motion, please.
Make a motion that Lamont County Ag Service Board adopt the October 8th, 2025 Agricultural Service Board meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thanks, Aaron. Carried. Number 4, follow-up action plan, page 9, 4.1.
Okay, so the on page 9, going back to April 9th, there is the Alberta Agriculture Hall of Fame. We did bring that forward. Bonnie and I are still waiting for the correspondence, the applications. We do have the applicant. We did do a little bit of background information, so as soon as we have that, we will submit it. In June, we had the service board approve make a recommendation to council to dispose of our 2013 international spray truck. We did tender out. We did get one application or one tender back. After discussion with Mr. Ternowski, I chose not to accept it. It was pretty much an insult because Amanda and I were at our Association of Alberta Agriculture Fieldmen. There's a lot of industry there. And I did some soliciting and there's 2 individuals that are looking to quite interested in it.
Let's get a bidding war going.
Pardon me?
Let's get a bidding war going.
Yeah. Actually, the one that's very interested, he actually does all the spraying for transportation.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking.
So he was also interested in being a part of our roadside spraying. So we very well could kill 2 birds with one stone. So
Any more questions for Terry on that? I don't think don't panic and start too fast.
no.
Yeah, it's towards spring a little higher.
Yeah, there's value there, right?
With regards to getting a quote for $10,000 for that spray truck, the deck is worth more than $10,000. Yeah, that's my truck. Our Lamont County Emergency Plan, that was brought forward to the budget deliberations, and based on my understanding, council did approve that based on the grant, so we're in the process of making a grant application. The roadside brushing program, that's still ongoing. The Sunland drainage mowing, that was completed up to a mile north of 572, where the grass was. And then once it got deeper in, where there's brushing, that's where we left it and then changed elevation. So I'm not sure if you want to discuss that now.
Yeah, we can discuss that now. I thought we were going to go back with the track wall.
But we're not very far away if that's the direction that the service board wants us to do, but the only caution that I have is if we clean it a little bit, and if we do have a lot of water that starts to move, I just don't want to have a repeat of what we had in 21, where that water was ripping, and then before it goes to North Saskatchewan River, all that siltation landed up on Serbian Street. I'll rather try to slow the water down.
Is there a lot of willows there?
I haven't been there, I don't know.
There is regrowth, because the last time we went in there, we had Cody going in there with the traffic, and he dug all that stuff out, and then some of the roots he landed up pulling then right from the springtime and mulched all that stuff. So there's regrowth. And the other reason we didn't spray it is because we have to get a special use approval from the bird environment to spray in the body of water. So if that's a direction that the service board wants us to do, we are mulching on for the area, but it's ultimately it's your guys' decision.
We cleaned it that previous time.
Yeah, the roots uprooted it, and that's why we got siltation going, because there was nothing on there, but nobody touched it. They were right rid of the willows and won't be okay.
All that stuff that was coming from 162, and then coming through Los Provinces, and then going toward Northern Jerkles, and then through what used to be looped drainage. When it goes through that looped drainage, there's that culvert, and that's why works have to upgrade that culvert, because the water was moving so quick. There was all that erosion and started under, and then all that siltation landed up going through what's now Coons property to that cross section and into Jim Sturdiak's.
So willows, are we talking a mile, half a mile, quarter mile?
They're probably be pretty close to 3/4 of a mile.
They'll probably hold snow and stuff, and then hold back up all the water. Willows.
The change in elevation starts to go downhill. The stuff that we use our sideline for, where it's easier to take out the cattails and the grass. That's where change in elevation over a mile was very minimal. So with it being flat, that's why we took those cattails and grass out. And then where the change in elevation goes down, that's one of the reasons why we never went in there with for the simple reason that I didn't want to have the water too fast to have any erosion.
You know, it's not moving fast enough, it's high spot there.
Well, I decided we're going to 162. But Kenneth said some of it is to the east of 162. I don't start.
Young out there, cleaned up a couple of years ago, right? So you quit dropping, right? Wouldn't take long.
We have to be very careful as well, it's because in a wet year, we're gonna have nothing but good water. This time of year. Guys are kind of so close to them and reading when they're harvesting all the materials landing on the creek. It doesn't take much to change it already. There is,
But I know on the west side of 161. It's pretty flat, but where it starts off with 572 in the field, I thought there's kind of
not very defined. There's not a very defined channel there at all. And that's one of the reasons why the producers are able to so close to it.
yeah, I'm not sure. I have been out there in fall to see if they've been working through it or whatever. I know 162 on each side, it's all capped in.
That's not,
On the east side of 162.
sorry, on the west side of 162.
But I mean, so you know, sunline drainage goes to both sides. Here it's stranded there. I don't know. I guess can we go over if whatever guys are doing, do we just leave that don't go open where the stuff was at night? All that.
Regards to the grass, we can't do very much with the grass, but if the board's wanting us to take out those trees because we're not far away, we can do it. The only thing that I talked to them is you may be opening yourself up to additional work because if you're gonna do sunline drainage, is someone gonna want the scale drainage done, or are they gonna want the stick drainage done? And then where do you draw the line, right?
And they were going to see if you want to say. Second year into this because the other drainages you're gonna crush.
Here, everybody wants to know better, you're like, here, nobody wants to.
So
That drainage takes water all the way from one there, doesn't it? 'Cause it goes to Whitford and then keeps going.
Oh, this is Sunland, it starts right at Zabrick, so.
But all the water comes to Whitford Lake, and then from Whitford Lake, it's this drainage and goes north, right?
They go with the acre.
Yeah, where the defined, they built that channel outside of Andrew.
Do you want the willows done or not? Do you feel TU and then landowners?
I do the willows and don't disturb the dirt, you know. Guess you gotta leave this much willows, don't get into the dirt and see it, you know. It's just that sunland drainage. 162 and there's mold here and there and the other side of the cafe are this high.
all the equipment's false too, so.
Okay, yeah, there's a problem, you know, with. The guys, Russian whole border, they used to work it right through, and it's a ravine, They're in the tropical feeling ravines, and they still work through it.
Really acting in right committee.
The area of his,
That the grass waterway with the crossing.
and then when that water started to rip through, he inherited all that also from the. And that's one of the reasons why I was trying to eliminate it, because yes, we took out the trees and oils initially, just to allow the snow to come in and leave. And I get it that those oils are there. But I think we should have some sort of, resistance there or have some filter, because if we do have a quick melt and that channel is full,
Or road for sure.
the water's going.
That's where you go.
That's right.
Is it?
But if the board is wanting us to do it, there's, like I said, there's not about 3/4 of a mile in between, 574 and then 580. We can go on. We're not far away now. And then,
I'd say they can. Yeah, you're talking, okay, you're talking.
because that's where the levels are along, on the south side of, just on the, where there's that, that top line that goes on an angle between 163 and 162, and then it comes on the west side of 163, and then it goes for about an eighth of a mile to the west, and then it comes back, and then goes into Lloyd and Jukels, and then
So the limit, there's our Lloyd.
to the west. On the west side. And then there's a bit, not very much on the rights. Stuff that's on beautiful drainage, the new owner that's on it. As soon as he bought it, and then they put his cat in there. Kind of go
You can go the drive crossing.
redefine that channel, which realistically he should have not touched it. There's that crossing. So, while the board is deciding what they want to do, and then some on drainage, Mike touched on that. It wasn't complete, but we can change it to ongoing. And then on October 8th, we had a policy that changed our beaver dam flood control, and that's complete. And then, there was a recommendation to have a donation to Heartline Training and Support, which normally there in the past was with the Farm Safety Program. And both of those are done.
Any questions? That, some on drainage, we'll bring it back in 6.5. We'll have time to think about it till then, Roy. Yeah, any more questions on the follow-up action plan? All right, we can get, If there's no more questions, we get a motion on that 4.1, please?
Sure, my motion that the Lamont County Agricultural Service Board accept follow-up action listed as information.
Okay, all in favor? All five carried. Okay, the delegation will be at 10 o'clock, so we'll skip over 5.1. And we'll go to, sorry, 6.1, new business, page 10 to 11.
So one of the things that we've been doing for numerous years, and then it gives me more benefit for our new service board members. What we try to do is very similar to what council has as well as we have designated dates. So based on our terms of reference, we have meetings every month with the exception of July and September. So what you have in RFD is meeting in January, and that is a week prior to the ASB provincial conference, and that meeting is just to go through our resolutions. So that it gives the board an hour or whatever it's gonna take, depending on how many resolutions we have, so that we can talk as a group. Amanda and I can give you any background information, so that it allows the service board to make a sound decision. And then if there's any additional feedback or research that you want, it gives us the ability. And then February, March, April, May, June, August, October, and December are the designated days that we're recommending.
Any questions on the dates? Can we, stand out for you guys?
No,
And these days are normally the day after, I think it's the first council meeting. Yeah, the first council meeting. Yeah. Every council's on Tuesday and this is on a Wednesday.
You guys want me to approve the 6.1, please?
I move that the Lamont County Agricultural Service Board approve the ASB meeting dates for 2026 as presented. January 14, 2026, ASB resolution review only. February 11, 2026, March 11, 2026, April 8, 2026, May 13, 2026, June 10, 2026, August 12, 2026, October 14, 2026, December 9, 2026, December 1st to 5th is ISB.
What day was that, lawyer singing and is that?
Well,
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't,
It's not on.
It's not an 11th for sure.
Okay. It's not on this way, sir. All right, thanks, Roy. All in favor? Okay, passed, carried. 6.2, coyote production program grants. They 12 to 19.
So our department's been getting a couple of inquiries, asking if Lamont County has a bounty program for the coyote. And some of this also stems back from one of our neighboring municipalities, which is the county of Two Hills. They received a $30,000 grant over the next 3 years, so $90,000 over 3 years to manage their coyotes. So they have a bounty, so they're gonna be paying $20 per coyote, so $15 of that is part of the grant, and then $5 is to take care of the administration fees. Now, what we did is we went and we surveyed some of the other municipalities within the area. And if you look on page 14, the only municipalities that do have a bounty is Two Hills. Beaver County doesn't, St. Paul doesn't. They got back, or they pushed back in 2019 because they had some ethical problems, and some of the individuals felt that, when you take out the coyotes, all you're doing is you're inviting a different crew of coyotes coming in. MD of Bonneville, they do have a bounty, but they take care of it internally. Blackfish as well. Those are two municipalities that have trap lines and outfitters in there as well. Smoky Lake County doesn't, but they are considering making a grant application. County of Minburn doesn't, County of Vermilion River doesn't, Big Lakes County, they have been offering 1080 for producers with confirmed coyote accreditation. The Tackman doesn't, Newell County, but they also offer the 1080 poison. Clear Hills County has a $30 program, and then in the Duke, Yellowhead County, and India of Western Slave River, they don't. From our point of view, I would recommend not to have the program because who's going to manage it? So if you have a producer that happens to bring in the coyote, what Two Hills has been doing is they bring in the coyote and then their administration goes and cuts the paw off so that they know that that individual can't come into, for instance, Two Hills and then go to Lamont or Minburn and I don't want to say double dip, but use that same coyote for additional. But at the same time, ethically, I'm not prepared, and I wouldn't have our staff sitting there with a set of pruning shears to cut a paw off. That's just it's ethically not correct. And for every coyote that you remove, you might be inviting another crew of coyotes coming in, because there is your good coyote and there's your bad coyotes. There's coyotes that are in the area and they know their boundaries. They need to survive as well, but at the same time, there's guys that are having coyotes that they're not having any accreditation in their lives. But as well, how far does the municipality want to go with the local service? Is it really our responsibility to make sure that producers are following proper husbandry? They need to manage their coyotes for the control of their chickens or their sheep or their.
Right now, the coyotes are really bad. We got the neighbors the other day, 7 of them came from the slush pile in the morning. They're packing up. I sent you guys a picture. That's one day of hunting. That's what they got in one day. There's a sheep farmer east of town. He's got 38, and another one of his friends has got 36 already this year. That's counting from November 1st. I know our area. They're coming at 7 o'clock at night, ready to start chopping. Eating cat food 7 o'clock at night, and then they drink water from the ditch.
Yeah, it's only in Boston.
Yeah. But we got, before everybody had a gun, they were doing chores, they kept coyotes down. Now there's not very many cattle producers, so I know it's we got lots in our area. That
I don't hear any, but there's no livestock growing like this, you know?
No. So we still have the trappers and there's still private trappers.
They're limited. And that's one of the reasons, as I mentioned, Blackfish County and Bonita, they have trap lines up there. So the individuals that have the trap lines, they're also been contracted to do some of that work as well. But the ones in our area, like your neighbor,
He's not part of it no more. Like, he was, they really does.
yeah. Well, there's nothing for the pellets. They give them $0 for it now. So there's
Oh, yeah, there's nothing.
there's quite a few mangy ones too.
Yeah.
well, I'll carry on to the farmhands who want it. I mean,
Kill off some of their own population, but yeah, carry it on to farmland.
so there was a grant for it from Alberta government. Is that what the?
Well,
Two Hill County made the application, they did it early enough, I'm not sure.
It wasn't very good. It's the railroad. Their society, so that's funded from annual fees paid by there's. We opted against the bounty program, it's just not effective where you need it to be, and coyotes are increasers, so you just start randomly taking them up to the street producing.
I honestly, I would say not to. I mean, if you want for $15 a kite, you take it to the Hutter rates, they give you the same amount. Just go with your own, just have your own problems. We're all stewards of our own land. They skin them out and sell them off.
Pick up, see, whatever we can see, whatever they see, they take stuff, so.
I think once they're bothered by it, they deal with their own rate. Yeah. If they're having problems, you're gonna take care of your own rate.
Oh, it's, no, I guess, eh? Okay,
That's an open meeting, yeah.
yeah,
Mr. Chairman.
yeah, we got it.
If it's no, then it would be the recommendation that it's listed on page 12.
Make a motion that the Lamont County Ag Service Board direct administration take no action on the Alberta Professional Outfitters Association Wildlife Management Fund grants for the purpose of a coyote reduction bounty program. All in favor? Carried.
6.3, 2025 photo contest, page 20 to 21.
So the Lamont County Agricultural Service Board holds an annual photo contest for county residents to share memorable photos with the public. This year, the residents, we received 21 pictures for county life and 9 for ag and industry. These photos are used through Lamont County departments for promotional purposes. They are also showcased on our website and Facebook page, and we always receive positive feedback from residents who eagerly await new photos. The Ag Service Board did determine the 6 winners. So the financial winning amounts are first prize is $150, second prize $100, third prize $50. So for County Life, first prize winner is Shelley Jo Melnick. Second prize is Rose McCaffrey. Third prize is Karen Kossi-Kwasniak. For Ag and Industry, first prize is Captain Harold. Second prize is Sophie Uganitz. Third prize is Dylan Day.
Good, we got, that's usually the hardest part is finding the, trying to add up all the numbers and stuff. So we got the winners, we get a motion on that, I guess, 6-3, please.
The Lamont County Agriculture Society Board approves the 2025 photo contest winners. County Life was Shelley Jo Melnick first, second was Rose McGaffrey, third was Karen Kossi-Kwasniewski. Okay. Agriculture and Industrial, Castanen and Harold. Second was Sophie Uganitz. Third was Joan Day.
Okay, thanks, all in favor? Carried. Okay, we got 6.4, 2026 ASB Provincial Conference, page 22.
So, Mr. Chairman, we do have our ASP Presidential Conference. It's going to be held at the Delta South Edmonton from January 20th to 22nd. We did get the agenda yesterday. They are recommending that, we register sooner than later. Our region, the Northeast region is the region that's hosting them. We plan for the worst and best. What we did is we booked the rooms for all 5 board members, plus, Amanda and myself, plus, the CAO. It's easier for us to counsel than to try to find rooms, but more importantly, what we want to do is we want to get the registration done. So we need some direction on who's going to be attending.
All right, I'll be going, Aaron. Yeah,
I'll go.
sounds like, yeah, yeah.
To be confirmed.
All right, perfect. So 6.4 recommendation, please.
Make a motion that the Lamont County Agricultural Service Board confirm the board members attending the 2026 ASB Provincial Conference.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. All in favor? Okay, carried. So that puts us to 6.5, sunland drainage. We had time to think about the willows there. Any comments?
Aaron, if you mulching, they might, like they says, like Mr. Naka says, don't have to go down in the dirt, they can mulch it. Right now,
Just take the tops off.
take the
right?
top down and leave some of the root system for, so there's no,
I'll avoid your erosion, right?
yeah,
Having
that's sort of
erosion.
Any more comments?
So what do we want to do on the side of 162? Just
With self rescue to go in there with the grass more.
so why don't we leave that and address that next fall conditions for that? Not the whole thing, just on the east side.
So that board is aware, we'll concentrate in between 162, 163, out towards 980.
Yeah.
That walk.
That's what willows are. I agree, the equipment's there.
What's it gonna take?
Yeah.
Day, days, you know, we're through there, just not thinking about it.
Once you get from, I keep on calling it the loop drainage, whether the loop culvert. When you get that big culvert, then it crosses by the church and then it goes.
Is that a big culvert replaced?
I believe Kenneth's fixed in 2 years, maybe last year, 2 years ago, because there was other money to take place. On the schedule, I had not done it, I'm not sure.
That's the one that was right behind where that little barn is.
Was that part and all that bullshit? Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Leave balance on the east side of 162. We'll assess it in fall, see where it goes.
62.
Okay, so we make some motions on the board, please.
Drainage between 162 and 163.
Just let them finish it up.
Yeah, let them,
South of. Up to 580.
Because there are no willows south of us.
That's area we went with the dev, and we did the swale and we did the cattails on the side.
there we go.
Yep.
I motion that the Lamont County Agricultural Service Board direct administration of brush the willows and sunland drainage between Range Road 162 and Range Road 163, south of Township 580 down to Township Road 574.
All right, thanks, John. All in favor? Carried. All right, 6.6, brushing is an add-on. Right?
Okay, where's the brushing that never got completed last year on the program for this
Stuff from last year. What we're trying to do is, the areas that never got done last year, we're incorporating into this year, so that we're, ideally, we should have caught stuff from 24-25 versus 25-26. But I'm trying to coordinate it as a block, so that we have minimal,
mobilization? Okay, I was just wondering about that because, some people have asked that, you know, if we're mowing in a different area, we never did that, so. The intention is to do that.
in Division 4.
Yeah.
So there is roads, and I don't have the map in front of me. I wanna say it was 163 from 45. That stuff never got done. There's stuff on 560 that never got done. As soon as we're done in the areas we are right now, we're gonna start moving ourselves south of Andrew. Yeah, logistically, it makes more sense to haul the equipment 3 or 4 miles versus hauling equipment 16 miles from one side to another. And then once we do that, then we're going to circle back and then and I don't need to use the division, but circle back and if there's stuff in Division 1, and then catch your stuff in Division 3, and then Division 2, and then.
Okay, that's the only question I have there, and that'll be some corner brushing that there.
And that's where the advantage we have with having 3 pieces of equipment, having the small 175, we haul around on a trailer and he's a lot more mobile. And currently right now we have 2 different projects. We have a beaver truck where we change them, and we have the operator in a small one by skip lake or that drainage, and then the other bigger but they should be done within the next 3 days, and then the small one is gonna go assist the other programs and hit all that we have used.
Did, you ever talk to about the launch, what's in brushing?
We're incorporating that when we do 560. So when we talk about just east of 855, we're gonna, you guys are gonna go, and then the small one is just going to truck that up, blow up and do that. And that's part of the drainage that comes by there in the yard. So it needs to be done as well. So.
Yeah, that's all I have. Good.
All right, we get a motion on the news feed, please.
I move that Lamont County Agricultural Service Board accept the roadside brushing information.
Yeah, that's for 6.6, all in favor, thanks, Norm. Yeah, okay, we still have 16 minutes before our delegation. We might as well get into the correspondence. Please, page 23 to 24.
Okay. So on page 23, there was a letter that was sent by MD of Spirit River to both the provincial and federal ministers with regards to the declaration of ag disaster for MD of Spirit River. Then on page 25, there was some correspondence that was sent by Brazil County to the Minister of Transportation. Brazil County was very concerned with the absenteeism of roadside maintenance on the highways. They're saying that the brush is overgrown, the vegetation is obstructing sight lines. There's higher than normal amount of prohibited noxious and noxious weeds. And then, on same day, there was, the correspondence that Brazos County sent, with regards to the quality that, the well site reclamation is going on with the orphan well program. Then on page 27, there is, by Brazos County as well, the reconsideration of the call order at, the Universal Officer Farm in BC. Unfortunately, I don't know the outcome of that one. Then on page 28, there was the shadow minister, did send some correspondence with regards to a survey, with regards to the registering ground squirrels. They are trying to reinstate the 2% strychnine, so, be aware of that. Then on page 30 and 31, there's a conference that some of our board members have attended in the past. It's called Crossroads. It used to be Tech. It used to be held at the Expo Center. They alternate in between Edmonton and Calgary. This year it's in Edmonton. It's January 27th, 28th. They do still have openings for registrations. Registration is in the neighborhood of $165. Some boards do send some of their members. I won't be attending. I don't see there's a benefit to it. Then on page 41, there was a report from the Alberta Prairie Conservation Forum. It was sent to our CAO. There is an extended package, like 100 pages. I'm not going to get through it. But mainly it was sent to Peter asked for it to be part based on their study that they did in 1990 and 2000, 2010, 2020, over the last 30 years, they found that there's over 5,200 acres of native prairie that have been reduced. They're hoping that the expanded approach to decline will allow the municipalities to review their how they deal with some of the landscape changes that they're going on pertaining to the conservation management and stewardship of the land, but more importantly, to some of our native prairies. So if you read, it's a very light reading material. Feel free to spend some time going through that. Then on page 184, there is a letter that was sent to both Honorable Rebecca Schultz and Honorable R.J. Singerson pertaining to the Farmers Pesticide Certification Program. Northern Sunrise does support the letter that Newell County and India Greenview have sent out, saying that currently right now, if you want to have 1080 poison as a municipality, as a producer, you have to be certified. You have to take the course, and it's up to the municipality to train you. So all of these municipalities are having a concern with that for 1080, it's up to the municipality. But if you need a aquatic license or pesticide applicators license, Lakeland College are the ones that are doing it. So this is one of the reasons why Amanda and I have also made the decision not to continue participation with the 1080. It's really dwindled down, and over the last 4 years, we've only had one producer in Division 1 that has been using it as a control measure, just to keep the coyotes down. But it's also part of the condition that as a producer, you have to have a management plan on control the cannabis, not just have the toxicants. So that's why the liability and the administration from our point of view is that much greater. So we chose not to do it. Then on page 186, Northern Sunrise does support County of Minburn's letter pertaining to updating the amount of animals that you can slaughter on farm. Initially, the government did have a limitation, and with the price of beef and with a lot of consumers wanting to know where their food is coming from, they are echoing what County of Minburn has said all along, is that let the producers work with the on-farm slaughter plants and continue doing that. And then Saddle Hills, as well, they also support that we allow the slaughter to take place. On page 189, MD Grand Plan is asking the federal government, Honorable Keith McDonald, to see when they're going to fill the voidness from Dr. Rosemary D. Clerk. She was the lead biological control entomologist. Currently, right now, the void is at the CDC North in Westridge, and if they don't fill it, they don't have anyone that's taking care of the biocontrol for any of the invasive species that are coming in. Then on page 191, one of the things that we've done is we work with Alberta Agriculture Irrigation. In the summertime, we have pest surveillance, and Amanda and her team we're doing this. So in 2025, there were no birth, no warnings that were beyond 300. There were very small amounts, so nothing to be worried about. For wheat midge, they sampled 5 fields, and they only found two specimens in 1 field. Pea weevil, they did increase, but they are still at a moderate level. Cabbage pod seed weevil, there were none that were found, and in 2025, there were no reports of any confirms that were found. And I think a lot of that is because it was as dry as it was. The birth of armyworms, research has shown that there are very few fields that were affected with the model catches that were, as I mentioned, under 300. And then on page 196, we did share this with you in the past, that what used to be the North Manzon family and then the BMO farm family is now been given to the Alberta Association of Ag Societies. There's a resolution that came forward last year. So they altered from the north and the south. We fall to the north, the regular north. So the ability to start thinking about who you would want to nominate as a farm family award. We do have till August 1st of 2026. So if there's any that you think of, bring them forward to an upcoming ASD meeting, and we will work with them and fill out their nomination.
We can switch to north.
Yeah.
That
One
seven
more.
plays 1-4, no?
to summarize, we did a lot of education and awareness earlier in the season, because we had new books for growing expansion to greenhouses. We did have issues with our GIS and our program, so that was a struggle for the weed inspectors, which managed to work around it, and they sent out 293 weed letters. With weed notices posted, we didn't have to do any enforcement, so there's a good enforcement for us. They helped out with all the pest monitoring, the grasshopper surveys, delivering herbicide, things like that. And then towards the end of the season, she was helping out with the crop servicing program.
Any questions for the correspondence? Good, if not, can we get a motion there, 7.1 for lease,
Sure. I motion that Lamont County Agricultural Service Board accept all correspondences as pertains.
all in favor? Okay, I think we'll take a 5-minute break so that, these kind of lost delegations, we have time to get them up on the computer and stuff. See, and then we'll continue on with 8.1 after the delegation. That picture, I used that was one day, John's sister-in-law and her husband shot all that in one day.
A little bit fortunate.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
All right, we'll, go to our 10 o'clock delegation here, from Alberta Invasive Species Council. Executive Director Megan Evans. If you're ready to go, we'll, gladly like to hear your presentation.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I will share my screen. And with any luck, are you seeing the full screen that you should see on your end?
Yes.
Yeah, we got it, yeah.
Perfect. Great. Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. My name is Megan Evans, and I am here on behalf of the Alberta Invasive Species Council. So what I'd like to do with our time this morning is talk to you a little bit about invasive species, what they are, why they matter, and some of the things that we do as a nonprofit organization to help combat them, working in collaboration with municipalities across Alberta, like Lamont County. So this is our year in review infographic. We put this together every year. This is for last year, of course. But this is kind of our elevator pitch. When people ask what we do, this is kind of a great visual to sum that up. Now, I know there's a lot on the screen, but really quickly, we attend a lot of outreach events. We offer biocontrol releases. So those are little bugs that target and eat specific weed species. And biocontrol is a really important part of managing invasive species in an environmentally friendly way. We really like that program. There's a lot happening there. We also have invasive species reporting apps. And we'll talk more about those later. Those are called EdMaps. That's kind of a goofy name, but we'll chat more about that in a little bit. We're active on all the social media platforms, and we even started a TikTok channel account in 2024, which has been eye-opening for everybody, but we're learning a lot as we do that. The Alberta Invasive Species Council administers Alberta's certified weed-free forage program. We've had minimal uptake on that program, but we have a lot of hopes. We think there's a lot more we could do there, so we look forward to working more on that in the future. We host an annual conference every year, which is the place to go if you are interested in being brought up to speed on everything invasive species in Alberta, what's coming, what we're dealing with, what are the new management options, etc. And we also offer a host of resources, including fact sheets. We have now over 200 fact sheets in our library, and those fact sheets are a one-stop shop for anything you would want to know about a particular invasive species. And we also have outreach campaigns. So we do a lot of extension and outreach, and we promote a lot of the same campaigns that people use in other jurisdictions, including, don't let it loose, buy local, burn local for firewood, clean, drain, dry your gear for preventing aquatic invasive species like zebra mussels. And we've started to develop our own campaigns. And in 2024, we launched our Rat on Rats campaign, which is a really exciting campaign that really encourages Albertans to report rat sightings and help encouraging people to join the Rat Patrol and keep Alberta rat free. We'll talk more about that in a moment as well. We also distribute the Invasive Plants of Alberta Guide. This is a really important resource. We've distributed over 33,000 copies to date, and all of them have been distributed at a subsidized rate, which we're able to do through securing grant funding. The list of regulated weeds in Alberta is being updated this winter, as you're probably likely aware. So these are out of print right now. We are currently working on revising them, and we hope to have print copies available for you this spring. And as a registered nonprofit in Alberta, we are, accountable to our members. We have 183 members and a board of directors, which consists of 16 board directors and 5 staff members. And we also have 39, in 2024, we have 39 partner organizations across the province that have been a really important part of our programming. And I do want to point out that, again, we are a fully independent nonprofit and we are not a government agency. A lot of folks think that we are. So I want to touch a little bit on how we're funded, just to give you some context. So we've been around for almost 20 years. And we don't actually get any core government money. So we don't get any, admin or core operational money from the government. What we do survive on is largely grants. So we write a grant application and we have, a project objectives and deliverables, and we deliver on that. And that is the bulk of what we do. That's about 2/3 of our revenue. We bring in revenue with our annual conference. We also have an AGLC fundraising casinos. I'm sure you're at least likely familiar with working these casino shifts till 2 or 3 in the morning. So those are an important fundraiser for us. We generate revenue through our biocontrol release program and also through the partnership program, which is primarily supported through rural municipalities across Alberta and through membership dues. But I do want to point out that the only restricted funding that we do receive is through our partnership and our membership dues. So that's the only funding that we receive that comes with no strings attached. And that, in my opinion, is the most important revenue that we receive because it allows us to apply for other grants, to grow our programs, to add new things and to do new and innovative things. And whereas everything else, there's strings attached with how we spend that money. So this partnership program that we have, that Lamont County has been a part of, is part of the reason why we've been able to grow and really improve our impact and create awareness in Alberta. So we're really grateful to Lamont County and all of our partners for that program. So starting at the basics, if this is an ag service board, then you guys already know what invasive species are. You're probably already dealing with them at home, maybe at work or wherever, and we're all familiar. But just to make sure we're all on the same page, invasive species are organisms that originate somewhere else and that make their way to a new environment where they cause harm. And the reason why they cause harm is because they've come without the things that would naturally suppress their populations. So that could be climate or temperature or water or competition, predation, diseases, all kinds of things. So that those things are absent in the new environment. The new species, the invasive species, outcompetes the native species because they have some type of competitive advantage. And the outcompeting of the native species upsets the ecological balance, the trophic systems, the ecological function, the ecological goods and services that these ecosystems provide. And all of those ecological impacts translate very firmly into economic impacts. And so invasive species are literally impacting every one of us here in Alberta, whether we recognize those impacts or not. So some invasive species impact stats are, $2 billion is the estimated cost that invasive species are impacting the Alberta economy annually. $2 billion every year. There's real money coming out of the pockets of producers, coming out of the pockets of Albertans in grocery stores. The majority of those impacts, we think, are due to weeds in agriculture, too. And there's a whole lot more weeds, there's a whole lot more invasive species and other types of categories that are on our doorstep that would really make that number jump substantially higher. So these are non-trivial impacts. Globally, over $400 billion a year. Invasive species are considered to be the second biggest threat to biodiversity in the world. And 60% of our global species extinctions have been caused either solely or in part by invasive species. And in Canada, 44 of our species at risk list invasive plants as factors in their at-risk status. So invasive species, they don't always get the attention that they deserve. These are this is an important issue that has very real consequences. And invasive species come in all forms. We have weeds or invasive plants, and we've got lots of those in Alberta. I live in the Crow's Nest Pass. I don't know if anyone's driven through here lately, but we are ground zero for a lot of weeds. We're a pretty weedy place. Invasive plants, there's a lot of them, very problematic. We also have invasive animals like pigs and rats, very destructive as well, very problematic. Invasive mollusks like this zebra mussel, that's the shell you can see on the screen there. We do not have any invasive mussels in Alberta yet. So we do not have zebra, quagga, or golden mussels. Those are very, very, very problematic. They come with a very high price tag. Those invasive mussels have infested most water bodies in North America, and Alberta remains one of the few jurisdictions that does not yet have these very destructive invasive species. They attach themselves to hard surfaces and clog up any type of aquatic infrastructure. And we're very concerned about them getting into our irrigation infrastructure in southern Alberta and be very destructive, very damaging. We have invasive diseases, like you can see with these fish that are looking a little contorted. They have been impacted by whirling disease. We have a major invasive goldfish problem. I'm not sure what the situation is there, and this tends to be more of an urban issue where people are taking their live fish and releasing them into water bodies. And of course, once that happens, they're very, very hard to get rid of. Goldfish and some of their cousins have the ability to clone themselves, so one fish can easily turn into 100,000. And they are very, very hardy. They survive our winters. They breed like crazy, very problematic. We have invasive insects like this beautiful emerald ash borer, and particularly our urban forests. Well, all of our forests are very susceptible to tree pests. Alberta is very lucky. We don't really have major issues with most of these invasive forest pests yet. But again, we need to maintain our vigilance to keep them out. And even invasive fungus. So the pine branch that you can see on the screen has been impacted by white pine blister rust. That is an invasive fungus that is now present in North America. The spores are just everywhere. They were brought over accidentally on nursery stock from Asia. And that fungus is the leading cause of decline and mortality of white bark and limber pine, which are our two endangered pine trees in Alberta. So these invasive species, there's lots of different kinds of them, and they have lots of different pathways by which they come into Alberta. Any type of mud can carry seeds, and seeds, that weeds hitchhiking on our boots or our pets or our tires is a major pathway. I know that my dog, if there's a patch of burdock somewhere, he will find it, and he will carry that around. Any type of wildlife can be a vector. The middle photo on the top here, that's the undercarriage of a quad. That I took this photo, and this was a quad that had been transported on a truck and brought to a new location in the backcountry. And I was horrified to look at the undercarriage. And this is not just an invasive species issue. This could be a fire hazard as well. So we want to make sure that we're cleaning our gear, right? That is just a clean, drain, dry, play, clean, go. Cleaning our gear is a really great way to prevent the introduction and spread of these things. The overland transport of boats. So there's a boat being hauled out of the water there. If a boat comes from an infested water body with an aquatic invasive species and into an uninfested water body, that's how they are introduced. We know that substrate forage and gravel can be a problem as well. There's burdock burrs on that hay bale, really, really problematic. Again, there's things that we can do like having forage certified, etc. Firewood is another vector. Moving firewood is a vector of spreading forest pests. And of course, I have a beautiful photo of goldfish in their tank because sometimes our pets can become invasive when they're released into the wild. So all of these methods and these pathways are, humans have a big role to play here. We are, most of these invasive species don't do a great job of moving themselves around. We are helping them move, and we are a big part of the problem. And in that same sentiment, we are the solution to preventing the introduction and spread of invasive species. Don't move firewood. Don't let your pets loose. Clean, drain, dry, play, clean, go. So the awareness piece, making people aware, getting them to care about this issue is such a big part of the solution. And we are a big part of the solution, and our behaviors are as well. So this is the invasion curve, and I think this will be the last boring slide that I show you, and we'll get into some more exciting stuff here momentarily. But this is a really important slide. So on the bottom, we have time, and on our x-axis, we have area occupied and cost. And basically, as we move along the invasion curve, the area occupied and cost associated with an invasive species increases dramatically. And you can see that there's some ratios on the bottom. Those are the economic returns of these different stages of invasion. So you can see for every dollar that we spend on a prevention activity, which could be, a watercraft inspection station, a boot brush cleaning station, an awareness campaign, education outreach. Every dollar we spend on a prevention activity can yield $100 in savings down the line. So this is a huge return on investment. By far, the single best way to manage invasive species is to prevent them from being introduced in the first place. So prevention is where we see the biggest bang for our buck. And the ultimate irony here is that is where we spend the least amount of money on invasive species. So it would be really great to, really see more investments in prevention. Absolutely. Inevitably, though, invasive species will arrive. And then we need to have eyes on the ground, and we need to take an early detection, rapid response approach to managing those new invaders. And that yields a very high return on investment as well. $1 spent for $25 savings down the road. If we lose the opportunity to eradicate a species, we move into the containment phase, and that's where we're trying to prevent them from spreading. And that's still a very worthwhile, it's very worthwhile to manage invasive species in that stage. We're still seeing a good solid return on investment. And then if we move out of containment and we lose that battle, kind of, we move into what we call like long-term control or asset-based protection. So I'm using Canada thistle as the example here, which is probably an invasive species we're all familiar with. That is one where you're just trying to keep Canada thistle out of your pasture, out of your yard, out of your natural area that you manage, right? That's what we mean by asset-based protection. I would put dandelions here as well, although we've really kind of, there's not a lot of control there. There's not a requirement to control in a natural area. They're still an invasive species and still very problematic. So prevention is the biggest bang for our buck. The single best way to manage them is in prevention. And again, awareness and outreach. And the more Albertans know and care about this issue, the more they will adopt behaviors that will help prevent the introduction and spread, reducing the overall costs, both economically and ecologically associated with invasive species. So some of the resources, so this is where we come in. So we do a lot on the prevention side, a lot of the awareness, extension, and outreach. And this is just a list of some of our existing resources that we currently have. We do have our fact sheet library. Again, I mentioned that already. We're adding to that every year. We add new fact sheets, and every year we work to revise and edit and make sure that they remain up to date. These are a really important resource, and we do a lot of work on these. These are very important. We also have the Invasive Plants of Alberta guides, which I mentioned already, and there's a QR code there to download if you're interested in having a look. Again, we're out of print copies, but we will have some ready by spring. We also distribute the complimentary, I have one here, Aquatic Invasive Species Pocket Guide. So this is a government publication, but we print and distribute them on our online store. We get grant money, again, distribute them for a subsidized rate. We do webinars, we have rack cards. There's the Certified Weed Free Forage program, which is super important, the conference. And then we've also recently established the Alberta Biocontrol Consortium. This is a really important program where we're bringing people, municipalities, industry, nonprofit groups across the board together to talk about biocontrol and to fund the research and development of new biocontrol agents. We're seeing things like herbicide-resistant kochia. We need more tools, and so the goal of this group is to, to develop and to help fund development of new tools for controlling invasive plants in Alberta. And then we have our apps, the EdMaps and the EdMaps Pro that we'll talk about next. So EdMaps stands for Early Detection and Distribution Mapping System, which is like a very descriptive name, but it's not very catchy. But it's these are really powerful apps, and they're really useful. So there's both the citizen science version, where you could encourage, people in your county to go out and report invasive species that they think you might not be aware of. So it can help you get your ratepayers to be your eyes on the ground. And then there's also a professional version of the app that was designed for municipal weed programs, basically. So if you're not collecting digital data, spatial data with your weed program, you could use this app free of charge. We will train you and show you how to use it. It's a real handy thing. But when these reports come in from the citizen science version, all of the reports are verified by us, and then we send them off to the local authority. So you can use EdMaps anywhere in Alberta. You can collect invasive plant data. We get them, we'll verify them based on the photos and send them off to whichever jurisdiction that happens to be in. And what I'm presenting on the screen to you is the result of an EdMaps query. So all of the data are publicly available. And I pulled up all the data for Alberta. There's over 50,000 invasive species records for Alberta. And that QR code will take you to an interactive webpage where you can zoom in or out on any of the points. That can be really powerful if you want to know what's happening in your neighbor's jurisdiction, so that you can be aware of some of the things that are potential issues for you in the future. Or I also queried the data just for Lamont County, and those are there as well. So there was 40 records for Lamont County. So interesting, and lots of opportunities there to use those apps. The other thing is, EdMaps is probably maybe you've never heard of it. It's not the most popular app, but you've probably heard of the iNaturalist app, which is a very popular app. It connects now to our EdMaps, and we can pull in those data, and we pull in all of the regulated weeds, And we are working through triaging those and sending those reports off to municipalities as well to make sure you're aware of those. So just some things to be aware of with those apps. There's a lot of good work happening there. So projects that we currently have funding to work on, we did get an environmental damages fund grant to do aquatic invasive species work in the Edmonton area. So it was a big grant, but with a very narrow focus. But it did allow us to install these boat wash units in and around the Edmonton area. And we're also working to publish a children's storybook featuring Tank, who is our goldfish mascot. And we're really excited about that. So we've got a lot of programming with Tank. He's the goldfish that reminds children not to release their pets in the wild. And we've also done some environmental DNA monitoring for aquatic invasive species throughout Alberta as well, to help fill in the gaps with some of the other agencies that do monitoring. We are currently testing out some equipment for controlling invasive plant seed production. We're particularly worried about invasive annual grasses, which are a major problem in the south, and we're trying to find ways that we can effectively harvest seed from those plants and looking at some hedge trimmers and things like that. We also have funding from the Alberta Real Estate Foundation to develop a tree pest guide that will look a lot like our Invasive Plants of Alberta guide. And then we've also secured another round of $100,000 in funding to contribute towards common tansy biocontrol research. So we've been contributing this funding, this research for 12 years. We are getting to nearing the end of that, which is really exciting. And we're also working to develop a new campaign to increase awareness and prevent the introduction and spread of invasive plants, which is really needed. We don't have a lot of great slogans for that yet, but we're really excited to launch our Wildflowers Not Weeds campaign, which will come up this spring. This isn't what it will be, but it's a little teaser. And I just want to point out that it's harder with invasive plants to convince the public that they're a problem. And that's because this field of oxeye daisy, to most people, is wonderful. It's beautiful. What could possibly be wrong with this? And if you are into invasive plants, you understand these issues. This is a nightmare. This is not what this should look like. This should be a montane meadow with a diversity of native plants, which are now all gone. And this is literally just oxeye daisy and tall buttercup. And this issue with this not being a problem is so prevalent that this was used in a tourism poster for Fernie, British Columbia. So this, again, it doesn't help our cause. Oxeye daisy, tall buttercup, those are regulated noxious weeds in Alberta. And these are problematic. They're ecologically and economically destructive and damaging. And so fundamentally, increasing the ecological awareness of the difference between wildflowers and weeds is really critical. So we are really excited to launch that this summer. Another campaign that we've recently launched in 2025 was our Protect Our Waters campaign. Prior to this, clean, drain, dry your boat, your gear was the main message. And it just wasn't super cool or pulling enough at people's heartstrings to get them to understand the why we need to clean, drain, dry. And the why is to protect our waters and all the critters that we love and care about. And so that's what we've produced here. Of course, hopefully you've heard of our Rat on Rats campaign. This was one we were really excited about. So I'm sure you're aware Alberta is the world's largest rat-free jurisdiction. Albertans are proud of that status. However, rat populations are booming in municipalities across North America. They're really booming and exploding right now. And we have, hundreds of thousands of new Albertans that have moved to the province. And this program has been so successful, we have an entire generation of Albertans that has maybe never seen a rat. So we felt as though it was timely to remind Albertans that we are rat-free. However, rats do make their way into the province, and we need people to rat on rats so we can let the Rat Patrol know. So we did think that this was timely. It also happened to be timely with the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't know if there's any hockey fans in the room, but as some of you are aware, the Edmonton Oilers faced off against the Florida Panthers last year. And interestingly, the Florida Panthers fans throw plastic rats on the ice when they win. And we thought there was a great opportunity for us to talk about invasive species and rat on rats with the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we started promoting it, doing a lot of work on that. And we also had the added benefit of Lauren McDavid, who is the Edmonton Oilers captain Connor McDavid's wife, who was posting about Alberta's Rat Patrol and the rat-free status on her social media, which was amazing. So we reached out to Lauren and asked her if she wanted some of our rat patrol stuff, and she said yes. So on the right-hand side is the rat patrol package that we delivered to the McDavid's home. And then you can see some photos of Lauren McDavid wearing the Rat on Rats t-shirt. This is advertising that is so much more than what we could ever afford. It's just so incredible. And we got a lot of traction. And what we did there was, we didn't create the situation, but we leveraged it. And we got connected with so many people that were not tuned into invasive species, who didn't know about this. And again, brought them into our world and created a lot of general awareness. Really cool, really exciting stuff. Now, the only thing that would have made this story better is if the Oilers would have won the playoffs, which unfortunately, tragically, sadly, they did not. But that's okay. It was a great run, and it was exciting. We do a lot of marketing. We do billboards. We submit articles for all of the main magazines in Alberta. We go to trade shows. We create wearable merch, which actually we've had tremendous success with. Every time somebody wears a Squeal on Pigs or a Rat on Rats or a Protect Our Waters hat, it generally starts a conversation. And that fundamentally is the goal of that wearable merch. And so we love this. We have a lot of fun with it. And it's a really important part of what we do. We attend a lot of events. This is Tank. Here he is in the flesh. He is a goldfish with legs, but that's okay. He's really functional, and we have so much programming with him. He gets out. Other people borrow him. We're having so much fun with Tank. In 2025, AISC attended 93 events, and we've connected with over 60,000 Albertans, which is really fun. This is a video. I don't know if I can get this to work for you, but this is at an Edmonton Riverhawks game, and there's our beloved Tank on the Jumbotron. So there you have it. We have a lot of fun with this stuff. It's just such a great way to connect with Albertans. And as I mentioned before, connecting with Albertans and creating that awareness is such a really important part of the solution. Some pending projects that we have coming up include, we've got a big grant in the queue to do a lot more wild boar and rat programming and outreach. We also have a very solid project idea and some grants in the queue to reframe the conversations around integrated pest management, which is really the best way to approach managing invasive species. And we're really excited about that and working with all of the municipalities on integrated pest management programming, which is something we know that producers are hungry for. So we're really, really excited about that. We're developing an invasive species to watch list for Alberta, some economic impact infographics, and we have a big grant in the queue to develop invasive species resources that are aligned with the curriculum. And of course, our Tank the Goldfish storybook will be involved with that as well. Another really important thing that the AISC does as an organization is we respond to emerging threats. So it's never a dull moment. You never know what you're going to get here at the office. So people mail us dead bugs. We get photos of the craziest stuff. But these are two examples of invasive species that were reported to us. The toad on the left is a cane toad. Cane toads are one of the most notorious destructive invasive species on the planet. It's arguable about whether they could survive Alberta's climates and whether they'd be a real risk here, but they are like a very destructive invasive species. This particular cane toad hitchhiked a ride on nursery stock from Florida to a Calgary Rona store. And that Rona store knew to contact us. We got in touch with a Fish and Wildlife officer who came and removed and destroyed the toad. And then in 2025, we had Alberta's slug fiasco. A bunch of nursery stock that came into Home Depot was infested with these giant slugs, which are not native to North America. They've been introduced where they become invasive in BC. And this nursery stock came from the Okanagan, where they were loaded with these slugs. So again, very problematic, but we're here to help and support. We connect with Alberta agriculture, environment, and protected areas, and we can kind of mobilize things very quickly. So those are things that we do as well. So to summarize, invasive species are a very serious threat to both the economy and the environment. Those species come in all forms with all different kinds of pathways. Most of those pathways are human mediated, and prevention is the single best way to manage them. Here at the AISC, we respond to those emerging threats. We create campaigns, we conduct outreach to raise awareness, and we're always working to create new resources for other people like yourselves to use within the county to help create awareness and help people manage their invasive species. That partnership program that you folks are part of and we're so grateful for is our only no strings attached funding, and it is our most important revenue stream. And we will leverage every dollar that we get through that to bring in more money to create more resources and develop new programs. So we're really grateful for that and for your support over the years. Thank you. And with that, I will leave you with my contact information. And I don't know if there's time for questions. I would love your questions. If we don't have time today, please reach out to me on phone or email. I'm happy to talk about invasive species anytime. And I'm really grateful to have your time this morning as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Megan. There's a lot to take in here. It's a busy place for you guys. Covering plants, animals, fish, dirt. There isn't anything you guys don't cover, I guess, see. Anybody have any questions? Sorry, go ahead,
Oh,
Megan.
yeah, we cover the full gamut, exactly.
You got busy place over there. Anybody have any questions for Megan?
Well, I was quite informative.
No.
Good presentation, very good presentation.
I guess the one thing that I'd like to tell the board is that Amanda and I lean on Megan and her team quite extensively. AISC is really instrumental in making our lives a lot easier. As you see, they deal with everything from zebra muzzles to wild boars to everything else in between. And I thank the service board for allowing us to give some money back to them so that they are still stay in operation, and hopefully for years to come, we can even work closer with them.
Their fact sheets and weed booklets are like the Bible for our weed inspectors. They send out a fact sheet every weed letter we send out to landowners. So we rely very heavily on those. They've got such good information.
Okay. Any more questions, Megan? Thanks a lot for all your time. Very interesting, very good. Learned quite a bit today, actually. So is good.
Great.
So there's no more questions and stuff. All right, Megan, thanks a lot. We'll discuss here and see what we can do. All
Thank
right.
you so much. Really appreciate your time. Nice chatting with you this morning. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. All right, that was pretty good. Interesting. We'll get somebody to go ahead and take it as information for now.
Yeah, you have someone approve it as.
Yeah, number 5.1, I think you had a motion on that, please. Take it as information.
The Lamont County Agricultural Service Board of Alberta Invasive Species Executive Director Megan Evans. Presentation is information.
All right, thanks, Gerald, all in favor? Okay, Carrie, thanks a lot. We'll go back to where we were in meeting 8.1. Agriculture field report, page 202.
Okay, so my report is from October till end of November. The roadside grass mowing program concluded on October 17th. The collector roads were done as the third pass, and with the third time they went on the roads, not only the first 15, but we did a second pass adjacent to it. I kind of base this off what Alberta Transportation does, very similar to what they do from shoulder to shoulder, or from property line to property line. Our transportation does that, especially for the first couple snowplow operations that they do. It allows the snow to go straight across, and even on our collector roads, that definitely helps. The tractors and the mowers were cleaned up, and repair list was made for the 2026 season. Unit 4348, which is the Ford tractor, that was handed over to Public Works, and it was prepared for start up being at the gradual driveways. Brushing program started with the initiation and overview of the units in the program. We had the contractor come in and make sure that our operators are competent, and if they had any hiccups, we address it sooner than later. We did want to have a very aggressive start before the snow hits, and because it allowed us to see where the rocks and some of the other hazards are. As I mentioned earlier, the crews broke into two different areas. The John Deere trap hole and the new PT 300 multi that bought for us last year. They started on 175 and 572, and they were commencing to the east on 165. A lot of the smaller units was concentrating on the sidelines. It allowed us to mobilize and not have public works the mobile. The Beaver program is in a better state right now. We were removing some of the beaver dams, just in areas where are going to be prone for flooding, and we're just trying to be proactive. We're just, as I mentioned, we are trying to plan for both a wet winter and hopefully not too wet in the summer, but we definitely need moisture. I was also busy doing some education with the oil and gas sector, due to some of the water wells being, well sites being reclaimed under the Orphan Well Program. I worked on behalf of those producers, and some of the contractors weren't cleaning their equipment properly, weren't notifying the landowners, and so we kind of did a little bit of risk assessment, and this way at least there won't be any spread of club root. Been getting lots of calls from the fall and during early winter now. More than normal on inquiries on alternative feeding source and water sources. Many producers have been buying feed, will continue buying feed, and looking for sources for water wells or dugouts, right? So a lot of that has been referred back to 310 Farm. I've also been working with the communication officer and making sure that if producers have those, they can call 310 Farm directly. Our rental equipment is starting to go out more regularly. Our grain bag grower especially. As I mentioned, we tendered out our 2013 spray truck. But I was very unhappy with the tender, and last week I had the privilege of doing some one-on-one canvassing. Also working on the orientation package for the ASB board, and attending the regional ASB conference with them in Vegreville. You had the first go around with that. Unfortunately, Dillis is able to be with us today. In this package is her report, but as well, there is going to be more extensive orientation for the service board, and that's going to be on the first day of the provincial conference. So when the chairman and myself are going to be at the meeting with the deputy minister and discussing some of the resolution report cards, the board members have the ability to go to that course. So when Bonnie sends out the packages to you guys, there is a section in there that if you're going to attend that, please check it off so that the committee knows how big of a room we need to have. Finalize the operational sample components for the ASB section of the budget. That was discussed last week, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend there virtually. So I thank council for taking into consideration the recommendations that we brought forward and the approvals that council has done. Funding and preparation for the 2025 ASB, the AAAF in-service training that Amanda and I attended last week, and then anything for the provincial conference. So that's my report.
Thanks, Terry. Any questions for Terry? Alrighty. No questions for him. We'll go to 8.2, Assistant Agriculture Field and Page 203
So notably, we wrapped up our club root program in the fall. So club root is a is canola. It is a regulated pest under the agricultural pest act. Looking for it, it causes all release of canola, and that's gonna prevent uptake of nutrients and water to the plant, so it's gonna reduce your yields in canola. We surveyed 100 fields randomly, game for 20 in each division, so it's spread out throughout the county. And we found 9 new fields that were then confirmed. They had pretty minor volume, nothing too severe. Some we suspect might have even been volunteer plants. So those landowners, once confirmed, were then sent our covered information in packages, and they contain our club route policy, the survey form, the confirmation, club route management agreement to be filled out and returned, the Alberta Club Route Management Plan, and the canola. So that with some really good information. But management agreement just outlines some tools that they can use, a minimum of 2 years, no canola. We recommend 3 still. Also using the growth of resistant varieties, some small patch management tools they can do to get grass off their approach where it was found, some lighting, things like that. You'll see the map in our closed section later on to approve. That's going to be our 6 restrictions that we post on the website, and then that's given to landowners upon request that we do there, as well as industry that might want it, and it's used internally. I assisted 3 producers on farming completing their environmental farm plan, so this brings us to a total of 16 EFPs in 25. That's a huge jump from previous years. Normally we do maybe 2 to 4, and that's due to some agri-invest changes, and now it's a requirement for some producers. Unfortunately, we did have to cancel our In the Know workshop. It's too bad because that was going to be fully funded from the Junior Ag Foundation, but we didn't get registering despite our best efforts sharing. We approached local agribusinesses, we hung posters in the towns and the villages, it was on social media, so that was too bad, but I am planning extension workshops for 6, so if there is anything you guys would like to see, or your great peers if they would like to see, let me know. And like Terry said, we were busy planning and hosting insert training we attended last week, as well as we'll be hosting the conference you guys will be attending in January.
All right, any questions on the assistant report? No, is Dillis on? Yeah. Okay. And then 8.3 Dillis was unable to leave us or give a report, so.
Yeah, that's just the orientation. Instead of going through it, you were exposed to it in the regional conference, and you're going to be exposed to it more in detail in January. So I don't want to bore you guys, but at the same time, you're going to hear it 3 times. So if you're okay with it, I would just accept it and feel free to at your leisure go through it, but you're going to have more extensive.
Any questions to Terry on that? No, they'll be at the conference stuff. All right, we can get a motion, please, for 8.3.
Move that Lamont County Agricultural Service Board accept that agricultural fieldman, assistant agricultural fieldman, and Alberta Agriculture Liaison reports as information.
Okay, thanks, Roy. All in favor? Okay, carried. Then now the next part of the meeting, we gotta go in closed session. If somebody can make the motion here, the recommendation to go into closed session, please.
Move that Lamont County Agricultural Service Board move the December 10th, 2025 Agricultural Service Board meeting into a closed meeting at 10:46 a.m. to discuss the following things.
Favor, come on the camera at 10:49. And is one motion to make once we get back up and running. Anybody want to approve the map, please?
Sure, I motion that Lamont County Agricultural Service Board approve the 2025 club route map as presented.
Thank you, Lamont, all in favor? Perfect. Carried. And with that, I guess we'll adjourn the meeting at 10:49.